Hi everybody, welcome to the dungeon. My name is Robin and today is Flameworking 102.37. Today I have a fun deep cut technique to share with you all. This is perfect for those of you who have been looking to really push the depth in your work. And all you need for this technique is the razor blade tool here, or a sharp cutting knife, some different sizes of clear rod, and 3 or 4 of your favorite colors. And that's it. So without further ado, let's get right into it. As always, I hope you're all doing safe and well out there. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you next time in the dungeon. Okay, we're going to start things out with this Uranium Yellow. I love this color. And I'm just going to get a nice even layer of this on my mandrel. And I want to start out by heating up my mandrel nice and hot to make sure that when I add my color, no bubbles rise, from the surface of the bead release. So I'm just going to wrap this glass up there till I get the amount that I want. I want this to be a really nice big focal bead. So once I have my glass on there, I am going to just get it even and roll it out. I'm looking to make sure my edges look nice. And then we can continue with our second color. And from here, I'm just going to be adding stripes. So this next color I have is a kind of a dark grass green. And I'm going to draw 5 stripes on top of the uranium yellow, making sure that some of that color shows through in between each stripe. So you do not want these stripes to touch each other. This last one was a little tricky to fit in there, but I was able to do it. And this rod is a little thinner, and that also helped to, get these lines on there. I'm going to go ahead and heat this up. And I want to heat it up a little bit more before I start to roll it out. If I roll it out too soon, then the greens could kind of maybe touch each other. I don't want that to happen. Okay, so I want to make sure that these colors go all the way to the mandrel. So I'm going to spend a few seconds to just kind of pick the color towards the mandrel on both sides with the tungsten pick. And now that I have that done, I can finish heating and smoothing this out. And when I'm heating this, what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to heat that green color and get it to melt into the uranium yellow. So the yellow will go up in between the green colors and you'll see them on the surface. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm focusing on just laying color down on top of the stripes. So the second color is a stringer of the opal, it's an opal violet, I believe, or an opal lavender is what it is. This is also kind of a relatively new color for me. It's really beautiful though. And I'm going to add 5 stripes right on top of those green stripes. And we'll go ahead and heat that up and gently start to roll it out. Now, when I'm rolling this out, it does feel a little bumpy, and that's okay. I just want to take my time. I don't want to smash anything down. I want it to gently melt together. And once that's all melted in, I'm going to do my final stripes with an even thinner stringer of the gold ruby. And this really, really makes the deepest color really stand out. So what we're going to do is we are going to be pressing the razor blade tool into this last color. So this last color that I laid down will look like the deepest color in the bead when we're done. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so now what we're going to do is start to heat everything up nice and evenly and just get it into a nice cylindrical form. And whatever color or color theories you want to work with this, just keep in mind that the last color that you used will end up being the deepest color. So now what we want to do is just make sure, or what I want to do is make sure that I'm actually pressing down in the proper areas. It's not perfect here. My lines or my stripes are not perfect, but what I'm doing is giving a really nice heat to each stringer of gold ruby and then pressing it down with the razor blade tool. And you can see in these close-ups that no, it is not like a perfect stripe. I'm just doing my best to, press into the full stripe of the gold ruby. If you can get these stripes absolutely perfect, then even better. And if they're a little off, it actually looks super cool too. So don't be too stressed out if this section here isn't looking perfect for you. Just keep going. And this is what you should have after you've done your 5 pressings. And you can do more than 5. You can do 6 or 7, however many you can get in there. But the most important thing is having all this color as thin as possible on the mandrel because of the amount of clear we're about to add. So what I'm doing here is I'm using one of those pre-made stringers that I got. I think they're like 1 to 2 millimeters. And they're wonderful to use. I don't have to spend any time pulling out my own stringers and hoping that they're all the same thickness. And these you're going to run right down in the center of every indentation that you make. And then what I like to do here is turn the bead around and add the lines again. So we're doubling up right now. Like when I start, or when I'm adding these lines of clear, it's always a little thicker at the beginning than it is at the end. And that's why I like to turn the mandrel around and add another stripe. So in the long run, you see here, it's a more even amount of clear on those in those areas. Okay, let's add more clear. Or not. Wait a minute. We're going to go ahead and pull this clear down into the mandrel. This is the perfect time to do this. And this will ensure that the clear and the depth will go all the way to the end of the bead. I'm going to turn the bead around and go ahead and do the same thing. I'm a bit under the weather today, you guys, so I'm just hoping to make it through these talking points in one go. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing all over again. We're going to add more stripes of our clear. And you may not be able to notice this, but when I am adding this, it's very hard for me to see what I'm doing. So I'm kind of trying my best to add the clear glass on top of itself blindly. So I am kind of moving things around to make sure that I'm actually swiping on top of the clear. And that is 4 or 3 layers right there. Now what I want to do is step up to a larger clear rod to get a maximum amount of clear now. So we're going to go ahead and swipe more of the clear on there. It's looking good. All right, now I want to start heating things up and just getting that clear glass to start to melt down into the color. And what happens then is that forces the color to get pushed up in between the clear, giving you that depth that you really want. I'm going to really, really gently roll this out for a second, just to even things up. And you can see that the color pushing up in between each clear stripe. All right, this is looking great. Now what I want to do is add more clear. So that's really all that this bead is about, is just pushing the amount of clear that you're adding. So here's how it looks, a little bit more cool, and you can see the depth starting to, happen here. Okay, so let's add a little bit more. Let's add some more stripes. So I'm always working my way from one side to another. And I really just wanted to have fun with this and just see how far I could push the limits of the depth. A little bit of heating, and then I'm going to turn it around and swipe yet again. So this will make, I think, 6 layers of clear glass that I'm using on this so far. And you could absolutely go more if you wanted to, but just remember, every time you add clear glass, you're not only helping the depth of it, but you're also making the bead bigger and bigger, so be aware. All right, I like the way this is looking. And we're just gonna give it a nice gentle roll, and we're gonna do a final full encasement now of the clear. So when we do the encasement, it's all the way from one side to another, and you are slightly overlapping as you go. Now these colors, I love to use these opposite, colors of the spectrum. So the red into the green really kind of reminded me of a watermelon. So that's why I named it the watermelon twist. Oh yes, here is where I want to just add a little bit of clear to both ends, just to kind of fill up those areas to even them out with what's going on in the center of the bead. So I'll flip it around, and sometimes I will add like a full, kind of like a swipe. Other times I'll add dots, and anything I can do just to encapsulate the whole thing in clear. Okay. All right, and that is our full bead with all the clear on top. Now all we have to do is get this thing super, super hot and start to overheat it to the point where it starts to twist on itself. And if you haven't done any twisted beads like this, like the gravity swirl beads, this is exactly what that is. So I'm just going to spend this is about 5 minutes here of heating. Very gently heating, and then getting that glass as hot as it can get, and then really focusing all of my heat where I want the bend of the colors to be. And I will turn a little slower than the glass is moving, and that will allow all of those colors to start to fall in line with itself. And that is our final twisted deep cut bead. Anyway, I hope you all enjoy this one, and let me know what you think. I hope to see you all next time in the dungeon.